Whether you're 8 or 80, you want a dog. We know that. But do you know what to do if you're going to get a puppy? Do you know the responsibility that it takes to have a puppy in your home? Well, that's what today's show is about. So stay tuned, folks.
Good morning, everybody. I'm the solo host of the show today. Where is Kat?
Puppies, puppies,
Puppies!
puppies, puppies. That's what we're going to be talking about today.
I
You
think I have
know,
fever.
you
I
do?
Yeah, I
oh,
have puppy fever.
oh,
Oh, yeah.
how come? Me
For
too.
for those of you that love puppies, I tell you, it's a wonderful thing. Puppy breath, seeing puppies all the time. You think that this is really great until you get the puppy home. So today, Roman, we're going to talk about, and Gaetan, we're going to talk about, are you ready for a puppy? Are you? And what does that
I
take?
am. I think.
Okay, now Gaetan, you had said that you wanted to get a puppy. So what are your questions?
Okay. How I choose a puppy? So should I look for the color of the fur? Should I look for the size of the leg? Should I look for the weight of the dog? Should I look at the dog jumping on me when he see me, or should I take a dog which is very quiet and relax? It's all selfish question.
That's a good question, actually. Let's put it this way. Where would you like to meet the puppy? Online? Would it
Oh
be
no,
okay?
nope.
Good choice.
No, no,
Okay.
no, no, no.
So,
I'm
how
a
would you meet the
person to
puppy?
person relationship.
Exactly. So, why would you look for a puppy in Guinea, I guess, and not the puppy in your close environment where you can actually visit the situation? You can visit the rescue,
Hmm.
you can get a background check on the rescue. Who are these
Hmm.
people who offer you the puppy? What is the background? What is their experience? Puppies are just are living beings, are sentient beings, and making that choice which sentient being is best for me to live with depends on many factors. One factor would be, what is my lifestyle? And with my lifestyle comes also the breed behind that. So if I'm a couch potato and I get a dog who is high energy, meaning is he needs to run, he needs to explore, he needs all these fun things, and I just don't really want to do that, then maybe that breed is not a good choice, right?
Hmm.
So we need to have a good understanding on what kind of breed comes into the category. There's so many websites out there who tells you the breed specific, the breed traits, and I'm looking more into organizations that share information like AKC, for example. I wouldn't go just on a blog that somebody's pushing a certain breed and then on the very bottom of the link you see buy the puppies from us, not really those. um,
Hmm.
if you reach out to rescues, there are a lot of rescues out there who have dogs who have had a litter and they save the dogs. um, we want to make sure we reach out to a rescue that has a reputation, that does a home check and does all these background duties that a good rescue would have. We don't go into details here. And
Hmm.
then finally, we have to check in, very important, the policy where we live. Do we Can we
Hmm.
have those specific breeds that we want to do? Um, how about this insurance going to happen, right? What is going with a landlord? To have permission of the landlord? What about my family members, right? I've seen many people who are very open to get a puppy, and then all of a sudden somebody knocked at the doors. Like, did you read your policies? Like, no, we're not that
Right.
breed, right? Goodbye. And if you need to know what you're going to do the next 5 years,
Hmm.
Hmm.
have a plan. Do you live in an RV? Do you live in your car? Do you live with your parents? All these things do matter. So before you actually take um, the puppy into consideration, you have to have this set up. It's nothing different. It says, hey, you know what, honey, we should get a child.
Yeah.
Kind of like this is a responsibility. It's a long term. I know people who want to get a puppy because the mom is pregnant. Like, you know what's going to
Oh,
happen in a month
really? Yeah.
from now, right? And I know this mom has
Yeah.
so much love to give, and
Look,
this
look at
one
Gaetan's face.
and one child is
Okay.
not enough. We have to add more dogs to the equation. Who's going to take care of those dogs while the mom is, you know?
Uh, okay. That one, the
Now, are
lady
you still want to get a
which is
puppy?
pregnant, and the dad want a puppy. Is that a relationship there?
Well, we have to ask really questions. Is the dad would take care of the puppy? And I
Uh
mean
huh.
full care. And I understand, you know, parent, a father feelings doesn't come up with mom being pregnant. Okay, you get that feeling of a father once the baby grabs your head like mwah, gives you a kiss. That's what it triggers. Until then, you
And
don't
go,
have really. And we have to
Daddy,
exactly. And sometimes we have
Daddy.
to pay attention that men feel lonely in that process, and so a puppy would be a nice outlet. But then you know what's going to happen? You have to be at home every 2 hours to take the puppy out. Who's going to clean up the poop? Who's going to take the
That's
puppy
right.
to training, right? And then everything is being pushed to mom because dad has to work because somebody else has to work because the other one is at home, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
have to take that in consideration as well. But nice thought. I would say, okay, good thought. But think about that. Is that an option? Can you dedicate that time? Because mom may eventually need help. Some people get sick and need to be in bed, and then the husband has to do all this work in addition, taking care of the kids, whatever is in the house, taking care, clean the house, and all this stuff. I would wait to see what's going on if there's any implications. I wouldn't rush it at last.
Okay,
So,
my wife is not expecting any children right now, so you know, we're not expecting any new addition to the family, except maybe we can contemplate the idea of having a dog. So what should I look for? I like to go outside, I like to walk, I like to bike, and I like
Mhm,
to be in open space. So when I have the chance to escape from my cage, which is my office or studio, I like to go outside and walk. And
mhm,
the other thing we do, Genevieve and I, is once in a while we do like a road trip. Like the last one, we went to Canada and we came back. We did 3,000 mile back and forth,
mhm.
and that was a road trip. So, well, if we have a puppy with us, is that something viable,
I would say
possible?
think adult puppy. If your
Adult,
puppy has a
well,
size
eventually, right.
that doesn't fit in an aeroplane while you want to go to different countries.
Well, we drive. We do road trip by car.
Okay, so you have to think about, do I have the car that actually can fit my 250-pound dog, or do I only fit like a 30-pound dog? Do I have an SUV? Do I have a Mini Cooper? What's my idea? I hate big cars. Well, don't get a big dog.
I have both. I have a Mini
Good.
Cooper, and then I'm doing the acquisition of a SUV.
Good. So therefore,
So,
you can also look at the bigger dog. The next thing you want to
okay,
look for, if you want to be in nature and you want to be outside, meeting people and be super extremely social, what do you want the dog
no,
to be? Do you want the dog to be a social butterfly, attract more friends and more people to your presence, or you want to kind of like, hey guys, stay away from it because I have a big dog?
mm-hmm,
What's your mindset? So you can go into a hunting dog who has a lot of drive. He's going to chase things in nature, which means you have to add more training to the equation. Or you
mm-hmm,
can get a guardian breed. Again, you have to put a lot of training into the equation because you don't want the dog guards you on your way up the mountain, right? Or guard
right,
you guys in the car or bark at the people in the gas station. So no matter what
yeah,
breed you're going to choose, you have to put the effort into it based on the breed traits and based on your needs.
mm-hmm,
However, the dog has needs. So I would like if Kathy can pull up that interesting link that I shared with you with the hierarchy of dog needs in a bigger picture so we can actually look some details exactly. So if you look at the
wow,
very bottom, you see those biological needs.
mm-hmm,
Question, can you fulfill all those needs of that breed down there or
mm-hmm,
species? So the biological needs goes with the species specifically. No matter what animal you will have those needs. The next one will be the emotional needs. Can you convey that information and help your dog feeling safe, trust, right? So if you're a party animals, have all these dogs and people coming into your house, you don't want to deal with a guardian breed because likely you're going to struggle with it. Okay, you want a dog who is a happy-go-lucky, maybe 30, 40 pounds, 50-pound max.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen? And I know we're young people, but we need to look further in time. Some dogs can get 15, 16 years old. What will the future look like? Am I still in the same house? Do I have to move in with my grandparents? Like, what's the situation? Do I expect people to come in addition to my house? Um, and so I would consider that um, kind of like a question which breed I should choose. Now, we can go on and on
Mm-hmm.
different breeds. We have like a 250 different breeds.
May I interrupt you?
Yep, sure.
Thank you for your permission. Because you go on and you can cover the entire pyramid. And I would like to address point by point of what you're pointing out. But biological needs, proper nutrition, I think I can deal with that.
Hmm.
Fresh water, no issue. Sufficient exercise. I'm overweight. I need to do exercise. If the
Good.
dog will be a motivation for me to go out.
Okay.
I hope so.
Hmm.
Twice a day at least. Um, Dog need air, so if we do exercise together, we go out few
Grooming.
hours,
How about grooming?
sleep. Well, I'm going through the list there
Oh,
on the green section of your chart, and I'm going point by point. So I can provide a place for the dog to sleep, which will be a comfy place. That will be also the indoor shelter. Safety, I guess, it would be not an issue. So it's indoor, and our apartment is or house is usually locked at night. When we are here during the day, you know, things are open, but not open to the point where you can run away through the door. Temperature control, sure. Gentle grooming. This is something can be done in house with the proper brush. Is that you call that a brush or
hmm,
yeah? Okay, grooming brush. We can have these little thing ND, and we can do that on a regular basis. And you said gentle veterinary care. What do you mean by gentle veterinary care?
meaning is if you go to the vet, you should have a vet in your neighborhood that actually is not a slaughterhouse.
Right.
Okay,
I know one. A friend of
right?
mine is a
So I
vet.
would I would recommend a veterinarian who is gentle with animals.
Okay.
Maybe he is certified fear-free veterinarian. He doesn't
Yeah,
Okay.
drag
fear
your
free.
dog on a
Yeah.
leash and send you outside or push
Mm-hmm.
5 people on your dog and let him stretch so you
Right.
can put a needle on his
Okay.
back, kind of thing. You see what I'm
Okay.
going
I'm
with this?
lucky for that point. I know I have a friend. He's the son of a friend of mine. I know the family for about 40 years, and he's a vet, and he's a
Hmm.
very good vet. And I know his approach to animal is care, gentleness, very quasi-human relationship as a vet with the pet. So that's I'm lucky to have one of these vet. So that's biological need. I think I can fulfill that at this hour. Emotional need, security. Well, what do you mean by security? There will be no threat to the dog
Exactly. So you
in
cannot
our
live in a
Exactly.
environment.
house.
Okay.
You want to live in a house where the dog feels safe, and you
And
don't
Okay.
part of the
have
family. And part of the family.
exactly.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
it's not a
So
dog you're gonna leave outside in the backyard just because you're
with
too
a
busy
chain.
dealing with the dog, right?
Right. Right. Right.
Exactly.
No, it's not my intent. I don't have that intent. Love. Well, I'll do what I can at this stage. Trust. Yes, I think I can trust the dog once we get acquainted to each other. I mean, there would be a period of adaptation, I guess.
Hmm.
The dog is new to me and I'm new to him. That's my understanding, and we need to like a self adjustment and realize that we're not a danger for each other, right?
Right.
He's not to cut my head off. I'm not going to stab him
Hmm.
to start with, and then we should have a nice with time a nice relationship there. So I can check mark this one.
Hmm.
Uh, Bonding with people and dog. This is probably more difficult in my mind to
Hmm.
achieve. because it's require more social skill. I have an example. I was walking.
I have to cut half of those breeds off your chart.
I don't have a chart. I have no prejudice. I mean, I was playing with the Doberman when I was 14 years old, and I love it. And he seems to love me also. We have a level of trust where I can put my arm in his mouth like this, and he will hold my arm like this, without hurting me. And we can be like that for half an hour, 20 minutes, and once in a while we do it again, and that's just fun for both of us. It's and you have these sharp canine, they
Yep,
teeth.
yep.
You could have like poked me like through between the bone right there. You just grab the right place. Like there was like a space behind the cannon, the sharp teeth, and not enough pressure to hurt me, but just enough to kind of hold me nicely, and we were gently playing together. And that was the level of trust that dog and I have. So I would like to see getting the dog with relationship with the other people. Another thing which happened to me about a year ago, year and a half ago, I was on a trail nearby in Naperville, and out of nowhere, a deer came out, and he was very close to me. It was about when he came out of the wood, he was about 12 feet, 15 feet from me. He walked past me, looked at me like, "Huh, what the heck are you doing here?" And he moved on. And when he would look, he was at the closest to me was like 4 feet from me. So imagine the same situation. We have a dog. What will be the situation there? The dog chase the deer, or what?
I think that's a great question. This will be a situation where you are a reactive dog parent. But give an example. I have a class on February 13, which is basically going through puppy training and puppy parenting education. The first thing we look for is instead of being reactive, be active and proactive. So before you go outside on taking on a walk in the social places, your dog needs to know the basic cues. He needs to know what to expect. So you're going to
Mm-hmm.
work yourself up to that point. In the future, if the puppy sees a deer, the first thing you expect the puppy to do telling you, "Hey, oh my God, I saw a deer. Did you see that too?" And you're like, "Yeah, I did. Here is some treats. Thank you for telling me that you saw something very interesting." Instead of going nuts, attacking it, and try to drag me down the way, to that
Mm-hmm.
deer. So we see that the way we set up ourselves as parents, and I use the term parents because it's important to see as parenting somebody who has needs that he cannot fulfill themselves. So we have that
Mm-hmm.
responsibility as a parent, and then working through the process of educating that puppy. It's not about training, it's not about obedience, right? We think obedience is what puppies need, but in reality what's happening is puppy need education. Obedience comes with a heavy word, obey or dot dot dot, what's going to happen. But
Right, right.
there's a
Mm-hmm.
compliance and there's a conformity that's even more important because the puppy does things because that's what we do, I guess, not because of fear, it's because of a
Mm-hmm.
relationship. So if your puppy looks at you, it's not because he's scared of you, he looks because he needs your information, your input to assess these situations. Since puppies don't have this emotional, education themselves, emotions in response to the environment is something that you learn,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so if your response is aggressive towards the puppy for bullying it down the creek, for the creek, it's because obviously that means be very dangerous. So we send the wrong information. So good question again, active and proactive rather than reactive. Should never ask me that question. What should I do if I see a deer? What
Yeah.
what should your dog do if he gets in that situation that something dangerous is looking up to him?
Yeah.
Right?
Can I
This
add
has come
something?
back. Go ahead, Katie.
I was going to say, can I add something in here under emotional needs? I think that they should add don't don't have unrealistic expectations when you bring a puppy into the house. Don't expect them to do things that they're not accustomed to doing.
That
I
Mm-hmm.
think
comes in
that is
with
a
the leadership because as a parent, leadership, yeah, parenting leadership. As a parent, we have these expectations. If I have a business, right? Let's take an example. I have a business and I hire somebody and I want him to become the boss in the future, but this person never had been in school. My expectations are beyond this person's payroll abilities. So it's the leadership's problems to not have those thoughts.
Right,
Or I
right.
invest in education and this
Hmm.
becomes my man forever, right? With the dog, is the same thing. If I get a puppy, and of course, depending on what my needs, I cannot make the puppy drag me out the house because I'm too lazy to get up. It's my responsibility to get up and then take my puppy out for a walk. So
Hmm.
we don't need the puppy to parent us and have expectations the puppy will do things to us because we cannot make those decisions. It's kind of like wrong. So in the reality, what it is I cannot expect my child to tell me, "Hey, mom, we need to go to the supermarket because we need to go, buying stuff." I'm not being sexist here. I'm just a stupid example. Mom could be a dad exactly the same, right? So it's us who have to say, "Hey, honey, let's go supermarket and let's learn how to shop correctly, how to compare prices, and which shop centers are better than the other ones." And somebody asked questions about dog food. That comes part of the leadership. I need to understand the ingredients of dog food before I buy my dog's food, right? I need to
Hmm.
understand what the main ingredients and how do I get um, the best affordable nutritions to my dog. Sometimes just buying cheap is more expensive than buying expensive that over time becomes
Yeah.
inexpensive. Make sense?
Yeah, Dale
Yes,
wanted
absolutely. I was smiling and laughing because the comment
Dale
from
made, yeah, from
Yeah.
yeah,
Dale,
he
yeah,
said,
So
"Get yourself a treadmill, put it outside. Forget
yeah,
the dog, buy a treadmill, put it outside." Interesting.
yeah.
No need to food. Okay, no force,
Hi,
no pain,
Steve.
no fear, no exception.
Yeah, we
mhm.
got Steve
Okay,
here with us.
great.
Steve is a great guy. He's a fellow colleague. He works with
Right.
several national rescues.
Hey, folks, it looks like we're live on LinkedIn, but we're not getting anyone's comments. So if you're commenting from LinkedIn, just know that we're not getting it. Okay, and Roman, Dale wants to know, what do you think about Rachel Ray dog food?
I'm confused. I like Red Chile. I don't like the dog food.
Okay, there you go.
We need to see that some companies or some food brands out there are third parties. So somebody puts his name on it. I can have Roman Gottfried's holistic dog food, and I never actually seen the bag from inside. Right? I just
Right.
sell somebody my name, and somebody puts it out there. When you always have to find who's producing that food, and if you end up in a conglomerate, walk away. There are some,
And
yeah.
and read the ingredient.
You know what? I get it.
My bro- my
Read
my
the
brother,
ingredients.
yeah, read the ingredient. My brother has a quote. He say, "If I cannot pronounce the name of the ingredient, I will not eat it."
Let me ask you a question. It's a tricky question. Like
Yes,
quick, because most of our people who watch this have dogs. You have the first three ingredients of that dog food bag. The first ingredient is chicken. The second ingredient is chicken meal. The third ingredient is rice. Now, which ingredient is in your dog's bowl? The first ingredient.
rice,
Anyone answers here quickly?
rice,
Yeah,
because
Gaetan,
it's.
what's your
I
thought?
said rice, rice.
How about Kathy?
Chicken,
hmm
chicken meal. Is that what you said? Chicken meal?
Chicken meal would be the first ingredient because chicken, because of the water containment, it being gone the water, it goes all the way to the end, and the rice will be next to the chicken meal because it's a protein. So it goes basically by weight before the processing.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so the industry knows that and makes you nice fancy stuff, and you're like, oh my god, there's so much chicken in it. Not really. It says chicken as source of glucosamine, which means exactly which part of the chicken is that.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah.
so I would say reading the ingredients but not understanding the ingredients is kind of
Yeah.
like doing a research on dogs online and know everything about the breed.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It's a slippery slope. Um, I would say we don't need to go nuts with human grade. I feel dog grade or animal grade is just fine because dogs have a different processing system that we have in regards to sensitivity to bacteria. Um, and I would say feed as healthy as you can. And if you don't know what healthy means, there are inexpensive courses out there to become kind of nutrition educated. You don't become a nutritionist, but get an understanding of the ingredients in there and get an
Right.
So
understanding what the
yeah.
ideas are.
So chips, popcorn, pretzel, things like that's not food for the dog, right?
Mhm. Yeah, sure,
No.
absolutely. You want to get rid of your dog or something? So chicken, for example, as Steve says here, chicken has 75% of water. So if it goes raw into the machine, it has 75% water. By the end of the machine, there is maybe 10% left.
Right. Right. Okay, so let's
Okay.
go on to puppy proofing your home. How do you do that?
Uh,
But before we go there, can I ask you a question first before we go there? Let's go
Mhm.
back to this question. Are you ready for a puppy? Because I see a lot of times that it comes to the holidays, people want the kids want a puppy, and all of a sudden, well, that's the greatest gift, we'll go and get it, and there's no preparation whatsoever. How do you know whether you are ready for a puppy in your home, especially if there are kids involved? I can see if you're an older adult, and you'll weigh it accordingly, but not so much when there's kids around, especially if they don't want to take responsibility for the care.
That's a good question. I would say the trick question is, why would a parent teach a child responsibility through a dog? Why is not a parent asking responsibility for being a good example?
Very
Just
good.
putting it out there, right? Um, and the other question is, if my child wants a puppy or a dog, I would sit my child down and ask him, "Do you think I have enough time to take care of your dog that you really want? You're going to go to college in 5 years from now. What will happen with your dog? Will you change your college so you're near your dog? No. You're going to go to the college you want, and who's going to take care of your dog?" Right? And so, yes, you can foster a dog if you really want a dog, right?
That's a good
And
idea.
help the dog get him warm up, volunteer for a rescue. You can start learning with puppies, raising puppies for a couple of months, right? And then have the rescue, then move on, right? Or once you get experience with those puppies, then get a little bit more adult dog, and then work your way up. And then by the end of the college, you have so much experience that you says, you know what? Through college, I'm gonna focus on my grades, and then once I'm done, then I get a dog because then I know what to do.
Right, right.
Okay. Now, just because your parents have dogs doesn't make the child experienced. Because your child, I was busy doing bicycles. I don't care about my dogs, people, friends' dogs. I had a dog. I loved him. We did all these things together. But if you ask me when was the last vet visit, I had no clue. It doesn't
Yeah,
bother me.
right,
It's not my
right.
problem, right?
Was that the last time they had a bath? Yeah,
Exactly.
right.
But
Kids
if
don't
it's
care
about
what they
cleaning
smell
poop,
like.
I was out there cleaning poop, which
Yeah,
means at some point I hated my dog because I had to clean all this poop, right? So we can do a lot of damage as a parent to put the puppy too much work on the child, and then the child
mm.
doesn't like it. So we put negative reinforcement into that experience.
exactly. Okay, so now let's go on to puppy proofing your home. Do that before you get the puppy, not after you get the puppy.
Right.
That's a big mistake too. And what is it that they need to puppy proof?
The first thing I do in the house, if I do an evaluation in the house, the first thing I do is I sniff. How does my house smell, right? And I open the door, and this whole smell comes into my nose of all these incense and essential oils, and I was like, no, right there we have a problem with puppy proving. Can you live without those? Good, right? The next thing you want to check in is look at the floor and see what's on the floor, except of a carpet. You see cables, you see connectors, you see extension cords, you see all these little things here and there. Well, that's not puppy proof. Imagine you're blind. You put your blinds, walk through the house. Will you step on anything? And I'm talking
Yeah.
to those dads who have this Lego land on the floor and you have to step
Yeah, right.
out. You know how it hurts when you go barefoot.
Yeah,
The dog will take anything on the floor in his mouth. Everything that's in a dog and the bottom shelf can end up in a dog's belly, which costs you about $1,300 to get it out. The next
Socks.
question is, it sucks, right? And then the other question would be, what's going to happen with my kids that are in the house? and they drop all the socks are everywhere. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's my sock. What's this? Oh, it's my underwear. Oh, what's that? It's a pencil. If you can live in the house for a month and nothing is on the floor, then you're likely home puppy proof. The next thing we have to
Right.
look for is, how is my neighborhood looks like? What's the neighbor looks like? Do I have a secure fence? Will the neighbor's dog dig himself through to kill my puppy? What's the nature looks like? If I let my Chihuahua puppy outside, will be taken down by eagles and whatever predators out there? Am I in a 300 how you call them, acres of property, and I'm going to lose my puppy for the next month until I find it? Now, these are things that have to be puppy proof. Think of
Mhm.
what the puppy is going to do if you're not looking at it. Where can
Mhm.
it get into? Then we
Right.
have to add other things like, for example, detergents and cleaning supplies. What do you clean your floor with? Oh, you use that chemical. Did you know that's toxic to your dog? Oh, you love your yard and you're going to spray your yard with all these toxins and you expect your puppy to remain healthy. So all these
Right.
things are to be considered, right?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Steve just brought up a good point. He says, I'm too old for a puppy. My biggest fear is my dogs will outlive me. I lose control of their future. Excellent
Yeah.
point.
Steve,
Excellent
I
point.
totally with you. I got an injury in my hand, and I had three dogs in my house, and I had to go to the hospital. I almost lost my hand for that. Very, very appreciated the doctor who actually saved it. And my wife was alone in the house, have to deal with three dogs, right? Do you have a contingency plan in place? What will happen
Right.
if you're not there? Let's give an example. You're driving down the highway and somebody hits you from behind, right? And you end up in hospital for the next weeks or 2 or 3. What happened to your dog? Okay. So these are things you have to answer those questions and check them out. This is, I got this. I have colleagues of mine who we cross check each other and says, hey, if something happens to me, are you willing to take in my dog? I'll pay for it. Right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so then the next area is stop stocking up on puppy supplies. A lot of
Great
people
idea.
don't, yeah, but they don't know what to get because they'll get rawhide chews, and then that, of course, isn't good, and
Mhm.
all of these things. And then there's like my Charlie. Charlie doesn't really like toys. He
Mm.
likes the chewies. So you have to find out what they like. How do you do that? By
Well,
giving it to them.
the first thing, I wouldn't stock anything yet other than dog food for my puppy, and I would have multiple small bags of samples and see what actually my puppy likes. We have to take in consideration that puppy are sentient beings as well, and they have choices and flavors and favorite things. Plus, we need to see what is the availability of that product that I want to buy. Okay. The other thing that we have to stock up is definitely um, food, good quality food. So we have a couple of options to play with and see what puppy preferences has. Then I would take taking care of stuff to have on stock. For example, probiotics and prebiotics. I would have a sample of um, different flavors of treats and see what my dog's preferences is. And of course, I would have already talked to my nutritionist, not just a veterinarian. We're a dog puppy nutritionist to feed the puppy the healthiest food possible based on the dog's health conditions. Because the puppy doesn't always come healthy. There is a fear and stress coming in from other locations. Puppy may have diarrhea, and what people do is they rely and put all this pressure on the veterinarian to educate them about nutrition. Veterinarians are not educated in nutrition. They sell food and nutrition, but it's not really their specialty. So these people only will recommend you one or two brands they sell in the store because that's what they're being drilled into. I love veterinarians, but really they don't have education, unfortunately. But
Hmm.
some veterinarians who are integrative veterinarians who study, in addition to the veterinary care, also nutritional aspects. So they apply food medicine, for example. Well, these are the people you can ask questions, and those people will tell you, how healthy can you feed? What's your budget? So this I would stack up in my possession right now. I have 1 month worth of food stocked up, and I have a backup plan. I already planning ahead. Where can I get my food for the next month? Because I'm feeding raw. So I have purchased refrigerators and deep freezers. I have a backup generator so I can run these devices if I have a power outlet. So these are things you could stock up. Okay.
You
Definitely
have
in
to
the
plan.
beginning, I
Yeah.
would stock up a lot of cleaning supplies. Right?
Yeah.
I I would stock up of a lot of little blankets and cozy places and a nice, I don't like crates, so don't ask me about crates. But I would get a little baby gate
Yeah.
and set my puppy up in a safe place where he can roam around doing stuff. So these are things you can set up, and some wee pads, apply them and put them in place, and everything is ready. I would make a list of people who are available to start introducing the puppy safely to social settings. So these are coming on my to-do list when it comes down to piling up stuff. Like, which friends would like
Yeah.
to meet my puppy and actually follow instructions I gave them?
And what isn't one of the most important things is to learn how to raise your puppy correctly. That's one of the reasons that you have a class coming up. And folks,
Right, right.
I put the link in the comments below, so that yeah, so that people understand that. Well, that is great. That is absolutely fabulous. I think maybe we should go into now about. Go ahead, Gaetan.
Well, I was not sure where you were going, but is there any hope for me? Is there a type of dog I
Yeah.
can get, or what's your recommendation, Doctor Roman?
Doctor, I'm not a doctor. So I would recommend, what is your favorite breed? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now walking down the street? Name that breed.
Irish setter.
Good. Okay. Now, are you aware that Irish Setter had a lot of grooming to do? Cleaning,
Yes.
cleaning the ears, right? You do. Okay.
Matting,
Right.
Hmm.
brushing.
Um, and they're very sensitive and very hyper. Good. Okay. Which Irish Setter do you like? Like any specific lineage?
Uh, the golden coat.
Good. Okay. So I would say you're a good candidate for that dog because I know you're going to reach out to me if you're not sure what to do. And you will be proactive rather
Yeah.
than reactive. Otherwise, you wouldn't have those
Yeah.
questions.
I have your phone number. I can call you at
And
three in
of
the
course,
morning.
if you learn a little bit about the breed traits, the first thing you
Yeah.
have to do is understanding what are my needs. Your environment looks good. Okay, you are in a good place. You can take out your dog without being any restrictions. You're not living
Hmm.
downtown New York, and then your dog will struggle, being social in
Nope.
places. And so,
Nope.
yeah, you're a good candidate, and you're young. You can make it beyond your dog's age. So, yeah, I would be okay with it. But
Hmm.
how about your wife? Hmm? Is she on the same page, or does she want a little dog or a giant dog?
No, she's. There's an interesting anecdote about Genevieve. One day, may I share the story? It's too funny.
Hmm.
One day, a friend of ours called and she asked Genevieve to take care of her dog, Duke, which is, I don't know, a mixed Labrador, a dog about 40 pound, 40, 50 pound, black, completely black. And he was under treatment for cancer. And the friend who called is a teacher. And she teach from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., things like
Hmm.
that. And she asked Genevieve to take the dog twice a day while she's at school for a walk. And Genevieve said, well, ask Gaetan. He's much better with animal. I have no clue. And the person said, no, 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 I want you and I will train you. So the person who owned the dog trained Genevieve to interact with the dog. And since that time, Genevieve has no fear of dog. She's know how to interact with the dog when the dog approach them or when she approach the dog. And then she has no problem with the size of the dog either. I will not take a 220-pound dog in a house. It's bigger than I can handle. But, Irish Setter can be a nice breed. It's a very beautiful dog. Seems to be a good, gentle breed and a good companion. So she will be happy with that,
Hmm.
I think.
Kathy asked something before that. What should I educate my puppy? And I
Ah.
feel that is a very key factor because many people are focusing on obedience, 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 obedience. And I would ask you a question. You raise a child to be obedient. Is that how you will survive in reality? Or you
Hmm.
want a child that has moral and ethics? Or you want a child who's actually understanding social cues and be fair to others?
Right.
So
Hmm.
we're
Fairness. Yeah.
missing the point. We're coming from a perspective control, 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 and then we expect the puppy to be independent. It's not going to work out well. And the first thing that I do in my class is basically teaching people to recognize that the puppy needs more an ethical education. If you don't have rules in place for your household, how would your puppy comply to things?
Hmm.
Why would you not be consistent and then expect the puppy to be consistent? Right? And obedience comes naturally. Obedience sounds weird. Compliance comes naturally because the puppy naturally will do what you do. If you dig in the yard for your flowers, the puppy will dig in the yard for flowers because obviously that's what we do. Okay.
Yeah.
If you are waiting for the puppy and respect your puppy's feeding procedure, then the puppy will respect you for feeding procedure. If you don't take always the puppy's food away, then the puppy respects you because you're not taking my food away. And
Hmm.
Hmm.
there's so much misinformation out there. How to become the pack leader, blah, blah, blah. Nonsense. How to make sure your puppy knows who's the boss.
But you
The
just
puppy,
mentioned you just mentioned something which is very interesting. You mentioned something I would call a consent. You have to have mutual consent. How you get how you get there? That's the
very simple.
mystery. Yes.
Imagine a huge person comes up to you and lifts you up. And like, oh my God, you're so
Hmm.
cute. How do you feel about that?
You better be strong.
Right? So what I want to do is with the puppies, understand the consent. Hey, I have something for you. Do you want that? And the puppy's like, yeah, I want that. Well, what do you do about it? Oh, I can be just nice and not attacking you. That makes me happy. That makes me give it to you. Okay? You want me to lift you up? Let me show you how it feels like to be lifted. Let me show you that I will lift your chest and I put my hands behind your back so you can sit on my head and feel safe without lifting you up. You're not a baby, so I can lift you up around your chest. I can lift you up because you're supposed to feel safe for my
Right.
hands, not in
Hmm.
danger from my hands. And I guarantee you, so many people ruin their dogs over time. And those dogs become hand aggressive because we taught them that those hands don't pay attention to your feelings. They just invade your space and pick you up no matter what.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Maybe the puppy feels safe about you, but what happened with another child comes up with his hands trying to pick up the puppy. And all of
Yeah.
a sudden we have a bite and we don't see it coming. And remember, there's 450,000 children bit every year, usually from a dog they knew,
Oh,
Hmm.
yeah.
likely because of that. Plus,
Yeah.
we have 3.2 million people get bitten every year. How is that happening? Right? So
Right.
we have serious issues going on. It's an epidemic proportions of things, especially now with COVID puppies and COVID dogs who are not socialized and actually they don't have a really clue about social settings. They don't have any education. And that's what the class is about.
Hmm.
Yes.
I will
Excellent.
register when I got a dog. Yep.
Okay, well, this was a great show, but before we go, we want to talk about something that happened this past week. For those
Yes.
of you who know Lon Hodge, Lon Hodge is his dog was Gander, the service dog, and he passed away last year. Lon has been dedicating himself to helping homeless veterans for many, many, many years. He was a Vietnam War vet as well with PTSD. He got Gander as a service dog. So now what he did is he sold his home and he got I think an SUV, and he equipped it totally so that he could travel all over the United States and help homeless guys. And
Awesome.
he would provide them with dogs. Well, he ended up he was leaving a hotel room and he left the car open, and when he went out it was gone. It was totally gone.
Oh
Hmm.
man.
I know. So here it was, and let's look at this, folks.
Watch Team USA in action on all your devices with Wi-Fi speeds faster
Of
than a gig
course, it's
from
going to have
Xfinity.
a.
Switch today.
Lon Hodge is a veteran who's on a mission to help others who served, and now he needs the help tonight. Somebody earlier today perhaps stole his charity van from a Topeka hotel, and Kimberly Donahue talked with Lon about why it's so important that he gets everything and that van back, right, Kim?
Yeah, Ralph. Hodge spent the last 5 days in the area making donations to the Salvation Army and spending time with soldiers at Fort Riley. He says the incident will have a ripple effect on veterans everywhere. Lon Hodge woke up Tuesday ready to hit the road.
I was on my way down to Alabama.
He soon realized his trip would be stalled.
I was loading things up, and whoever it was must have been watching the car.
Hodge says his van was stolen right in front of his room at the Baymont Inn.
All the doors were open on the car. Keys were on the dash. He must have waited until I went inside, slowly closed all the doors, and then just drove it off.
He says the van wasn't packed for a short-term trip. Inside was his whole life.
I kind of teased a little bit. I'm voluntarily homeless. We got rid of my house, and we literally travel the majority of the year doing stuff for homeless veterans around the country and teaching seminars in service dog and service dog law, and volunteer stuff at medical schools, vet schools. Had everything in it that I own, plus a lot of stuff. The charity, there's probably $10,000 worth of charity stuff in there.
That charity is Operation Fetch. It gives supplies to homeless veterans, provides education on service dogs, and helps vets get dogs of their own.
Everybody we've ever talked to that we've helped in that way, has said that we've saved their lives. It's a way of giving back. I'm still really in shock. It just seemed so unbelievable to me. And that somebody would do that.
He has one message for the thief.
You affected a lot of people who desperately need help. Or take the other things, take the stuff that belongs to me, but get the van back so we can continue our mission.
The van is a 2014 Ford Transit with a black dog decal. It has a carrier on top and a portable tube shower. It has a Colorado disabled veterans license plate with the number 525YJQ. The front grille is damaged and missing a bumper. Hodge says the man who took the van was about 5'9" and either white or Hispanic, wearing a green baseball cap and gray hoodie. And Lon just made his final payment on the van today and had no theft coverage. So if you want to help him, we have a link to a GoFundMe on.
So now there's that, but there's some good
sick
news
idea
here.
to get somebody's car from the ADA parking lot.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
legally.
Well, here's the good news and here's the bad news. Okay, come on.
Unlimited with 5G for only $30
Sorry, we
a
have
month.
to watch this. Sorry.
Means more of what you love for
Come on,
less.
come on, come on.
Whoa. Xfinity Mobile with internet. It's so good, it keeps one-upping itself.
Good evening, I'm Melissa Bruner.
And I'm Ralph Hipp. We're going to have the latest on that winter weather and how much snow we got in just a moment. We want to begin here tonight at 6 with a follow-up about a well-known veteran. He had that van for his service organization, Operation Fetch, stolen from outside a Topeka hotel.
He has the van back tonight, but it's heavily damaged. Still, his day is about to get better. 13's Kimberly Donahue caught up with Lon Hodge. And Kim, just how did they find the van?
Ralph, Melissa, I got a tip on my Facebook page around 9:30 last night about a possible sighting of the van near Central Park and Fillmore. I told Lon, and a few hours later, he and some friends found the van, almost completely empty except for one item.
How are you?
Great, how are you?
It's been a stressful 24 hours.
Less than a day since veterans advocate Lon Hodge's story hit the WIBW airwaves, the story of someone stealing his van caught worldwide interest from veteran supporters and celebrities like Daryl Hannah, Rob Morrow, and John Cryer. Just before midnight Tuesday, Lon's van was found, nearly destroyed, and all the items he planned to give veterans through his organization, Operation Fetch, gone.
This was stacked floor to ceiling with stuff everywhere. They took everything. They weren't even gentle about taking out the radio and stuff. They just jerked it out of there.
The thief did leave one item untouched. Just Gander.
That was it.
A box filled with the ashes of Lon's late service dog, Gander.
I got a feeling whoever did it might have been a little superstitious.
Lon believes his late furry friend actually helped him find the van.
And that's why we did all this in the very beginning. And Gander saved my life, and he saved. We have hundreds of letters saying he saved or changed their lives.
A tip to 13 News described a sighting of the van surrounded by tennis balls.
Gander loved tennis balls. They said that was a sign that Gander was leading people back to the van.
Lon says it will take a while to replace all the donations.
We still have a lot of things that we can give away to the homeless, but yeah, those are like the medical things that we had in here and things like that, and all the stuff that was collected in the rooftop. A lot of people put a lot of heart and soul into getting those things.
But he says having the van will get him back on the road to helping veterans.
Yours is the lead that brought us the van and started the ball rolling, and it gave the story credibility too, so it went everywhere.
Lon still plans to head to Alabama to give his seminar on service dog law. But first, Lon's actually with us, and he so kindly agreed to chat with us about how things are going. So, Lon, tell me how you're doing today.
I'm ecstatic. I got our van back. This van's been to 39 states and done stuff, or 46 states and done stuff everywhere, and I'm thrilled. There's so many great memories in this thing, and I'm just glad to have it back.
What about the rest of the items for Operation Fetch? How are those?
We have some people over in that area right now, and they think they've located maybe you see the roof rack and lots of other things are gone. They think they may have located a few things, and they're waiting on police to show up so they can take care of that.
Okay, well, Lon, the good news is just going to keep coming to you because we have one more surprise for you. Just head on over this way.
On behalf of Neil Willie Automotive Group, a very special friend and customer.
Oh my God!
With this 2020 Chrysler Pacifica touring.
Oh my God! Oh, wonderful!
Wow!
Yay!
What you do?
Oh.
So much. That's amazing. Oh my God! Well, we got work to do now.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. I don't know what to say. Thank you. You guys have done all of this. And we'll make good use of this, I promise.
I'm sure you will.
I promise.
Oh my gosh.
You know what?
Wow.
Sometimes I think things happen for other things to happen. So this person who gives so much to the community and have so many people is being helped himself in return in such a generous way, right? I mean, this is a great message for both.
He really deserves.
Yeah.
He deserves at least
he
that.
deserves a bigger car. Get him a truck.
Yeah. And I think there's a GoFundMe page for him.
Yeah, let's share that page here. I mean, you know what?
Yeah.
To replace these missing things.
Right. That's what I'm putting out there right now so that everybody
put
can
the link for everybody to see that.
Yeah. This is
Lon
they've raised $21,000 and he got a car. Wonderful. That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And Lon never take a dime for himself. Last time we have him on the show, we were kind of jokingly said, for each dollar you receive, you spend $1.25. Yeah. Not only don't receive money, he's not paid for what he's doing, but he's using his own money to help other people. And if at least this the supply for fetch operation can be replaced, the GoFundMe page will definitively be a good instrument for everybody to get there and give $1 or $2 to help him carry on his mission in life, which is helping others without asking a dime in return.
That's right. Yeah. So, hey, Lon, our hearts go out to you. We really appreciate it. And we want to thank our sponsor for today, which is Ion Gut Support. For those of you that would like to purchase it, I can tell you that I use their home brand, not their home, their human brand for myself. And this pet gut formula is absolutely excellent for dogs that have diarrhea, have stomach issues, have gotten into some bad food, they're not eating properly. This is excellent, and I would highly recommend you ordering it. And you can order it through the link we just put down below. So, oh my goodness, wonderful show. Thank you so much, Roman. Thank you, Gaetan. And,
thank you, Kathy.
Yeah. So, Lon,
we're with you.
To you. Yeah, we're with you. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.